Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
Yeah, what up? Here we go. It is Monday. First Monday we've done in a while here. KVJ After the Show podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
What's up? Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, boy, I had a moment yesterday, man. Boy, those guilty moments. We were like leaving church yesterday, and they'll sometimes show you may not know there's this group called Dude Perfect, and they do these trick shots, kind of like how they started on YouTube. They got like 20 million followers now. They got a show on CMT. They got all kinds of like endorsements. They tie in with all these like big athletes and stuff like that. So
they're fun. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah,
they do a great job.
They're a lot of fun. And so we were like leaving church, and they had mentioned something about Dude Perfect because they show their videos sometimes in the class where my kid is. And so they had the Dude Perfect videos going. I'm like, well, I like those guys. You know, he's talking about them. I'm like, well, yeah, they seem like, some good Christian dudes and this and that. And Cannon was like, well, yeah, so you like Dude Perfect? I was like, well, yeah, it's just really good. And he's like, yeah, they do seem to do pretty good, wholesome stuff. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And he's like, you got the After the Show podcast. And I'm like, what's that supposed to mean? He's like, well, you don't, like, kids can't listen to it. You do dirty things on there. And I'm like, oh, jeez. Gosh.
Look, the kid's fucking right.
Man.
Look, kid, these dirty things pay your bills. You like
Gosh.
new sneakers, or you want to go? You want to go to Goodwill for your shoes, or you want to go to the mall
Hey,
with your siblings?
You see that phone you're watching Dude Perfect on? Daddy's
Yeah.
got to work.
That phone's paid for with Daddy's filthy mouth.
Like, geez, man. Kids know how to play a guilt trip on their parents, man. That's just, if there's a gift that kids have, it is manipulating and guilting their parents, man. You're like going, gosh, old day. Like going, yeah, you're right. I'm not dude perfect. I'm dude flawed.
Dude imperfect.
Yeah.
Dude imperfect.
Totally Dude Imperfect. I'm talking about myself. I'm even talking about you.
Yeah. Just, oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah, so I had to deal with that kind of guilt
You
yesterday.
just got to remind your kid, Daddy brings home the bacon because of that filthy show.
I mean, everyone's a critic.
Yeah, I had somebody else. They're like going, what was this other tweet that I got? Yeah, so I got that, and I went home. I'm like, I wouldn't think too much about it.
What did the tweet say?
Just like a double dipper here. I got home like, I'm starting to get my mind off of it because I felt, he's got a point, man. He's got a point. My kids call me out. And so I read this tweet. It says, I grew up in a very Christian household. We routinely went to church 2 or 3 services a week. I just finished listening to the December 22nd After the Show podcast and gasped out loud when Kevin dropped the P-bomb while his parents were at the radio station. Did you get in trouble?
You dropped the P-bomb.
They couldn't hear it.
We made sure of that.
They
Yeah.
were in the room with Denny's, and we made sure the sound was turned off.
Is After the Show too edgy? Do we got to dial it back?
Oh, no, it's nothing about the what y'all do. It's just it's all personal. Kevin, being
It's-
convicted over here.
Oh,
It's
don't
a
worry.
one-man struggle.
Oh, it's one man struggle.
Oh.
It has nothing to do with the show or any changes that are going to be made. I'm not making executive programming decisions. I'm just
No.
like going, yeah.
No, I've had people in my life tell me I got to clean it up on the podcast for sure.
I say more P-bombs in 2018.
It's just, it's like, man,
Well,
when it's your kid and it's like, and you're like, yeah, okay. I'm like,
I don't know what it is. The After the Show podcast, it almost feels like kind of like a therapy session. It's nice to get all of it out.
yeah.
It's a
yeah.
release.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, I admit, I do have a bad mouth. That is a bad habit that I have. I drop some
Guilty.
guilty.
Guilty,
In
yeah.
my personal life. I mean, I'm not walking around Publix going, "Fuck yeah, mozzarella stick." I'm not doing that. But if I'm hanging out with Denny's,
Well, mozzarella sticks do make you happy. I could see your ass saying that.
a fuck yeah could come from a good mozzarella.
Yeah.
It's a bad example. But you know what I mean. If I'm hanging with Denny's, yeah, we're probably talking like, we're a couple dudes.
You're a ball player. You grew up in the dugout.
There was a lot of swearing in baseball. A lot.
Swearing is just like one of the things that personally, like, I hate that it's, that people put it on like, oh, I can't say.
You're a
'cause to
bad
me-
person list.
It's bad as like slapping old people.
Yeah.
To some people, it's just as bad as slapping an old person.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, simmer down.
They act like if you swear, you are a terrible person, that you don't believe in God or anything. It's a weird stigma that comes with people who use coarse language.
Well, what's fascinating to me is just how we had this, and this is one of the topics, why I did that whole round of, that Godcast with, my buddy Pastor Sean. That was one of the topics we talked about was cursing. Because to me, different societies have different things they consider to be a curse word. There are certain, words that if you say it in American English, it's not bad. But if you say it in British English, it's like the worst thing ever. Don't say fanny pack in English. Like you can't say that word. Like that's just...
That means
completely filthy.
That means P-bomb, I believe.
Yes, it does. Yeah. And so, you got all these kind of things, and it really depends a lot of times the standards of society or the group that you're in, what is considered a bad word or not. Like the word like ass, and it's weird how like that word is gravitated like that. Used to be like, oh no, you couldn't say it. And now it's kind of like one of those words that you hear a good bit, and you could hear it on regular broadcast TV, and it's not a big deal.
People have gotten soft on ass, just like our asses have gotten soft.
Well, so it's like, because, if you look at like any kind of like religious texts that are calling out anything about, language, and they do talk about, using bad language, but they don't give you like how the FCC gives you the 7 dirty words. There's not a chapter in the Bible that says, thou shalt not say pussy. That's just something.
You can't have a P-bomb in the Bible. You just can't.
It's not in there. And so, that was kind of like what my question was. I was talking with Sean. I'm like, okay, so what are these words that you can and can't say? And what's considered bad? And
what did Sean say?
What makes one, I haven't done the damn podcast in a year and a half.
Podcast.
Yeah.
He hasn't done the fucking thing in a while.
Yeah, so I got to go back and listen to it. But, and I think everybody.
Oh, so you asked him, and you just can't remember his response.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, that's valid.
That's kind of what it is. I got to go back and check it out.
That's okay.
Yeah. And so that's, kind of like one of the topics.
I've known a lot of people who are really great people who've done a lot of awesome things for others, but they talk like a trucker. And they're not, they believe in God, and they go to church. But if you were talking to them like, holy fuck, what the fuck? Like they're constantly drunk. They're not a bad person. And I think when you are being mean to someone, that's when language is bad.
Yeah. I don't think it disqualifies you from anything. Like you'd said, sin's a sin. And that's ultimately, I think, what we came down to it as is, sin is really a term about missing the mark. It has to go back to archery. And archery was hitting the bullseye. And the bullseye is just kind of doing everything the way you should. Anything that's outside of the bullseye is a sin. So that's kind of the way of looking at it. Does God have like a ranking of sins, saying, okay, murder, this and that is definitely worse than these? And there's argument about that, saying there's no ranking of them. It's not saying this is an A grade sin, this is a D grade sin. A sin's a sin.
They look back and they go, on December 23rd, Kevin Ralston said, pussy.
Yes.
Well, there's 10 commandments. Do you think that they're weighted? Did he give them to you in the order in which they are more offensive?
We are getting into...
it sounds like I need to bring you guys on the Godcast.
We are getting into such a deep conversation, and there's going to be no right answer.
Let's get into that shit.
There's going to be no right answer.
I'll have to bring you guys on for an episode. That's it. The Ungodly
Are you sure
Cast.
You want us to be in the room with your friend, Pastor Sean? I know you're trying to leave a good impression.
No, I do, because really the podcast is not for like religious people. It's for people that argue this kind of stuff, or have ever thought about it, or they've ever had somebody that gave them a guilt trip, like their kid, about their language, and like going, okay, wait, what is really the whole thing on that?
Yeah, for example, I was doing a snack pack show a few years back, and someone from my past who comes from a religious background, love them, that was very close with them. They had never seen the snack pack show. We were doing it at Swamp Grass Willie's, which was a little bit even more.
The swamp.
We were doing it at the swamp, and I was
that
up
place
there.
Is filthy. Everybody's cursing.
Yeah, and I'm up there, motherfuck this, motherfuck G. I'm just doing all kind of stuff. And when I got off the stage, it was either that night or the next time I saw them. They go, "Whoa, we went and saw the show, and we saw you, and we knew that's not really you. We know that's not who you really are." So I was trying to tell my friends, that's not Jason. He doesn't really act that way. I'm like, well, I fucking do. Yeah, I do swear a little bit. But it was almost like
kind of a pirate.
It was almost like they were talking about me like I'm a bad person. I had done something really wrong. And for me, I was at a bar. I was swearing, just trying to get the crowd going.
Yeah.
And it was bizarre to think that they were looking at me like I was a bad person because I had dropped F-bombs.
Yeah. Kind of the basic gist of, I think we did like 7 different mini episodes. Like I wanted to keep them super fast. Like they're about like 15 minutes long, 10 to 15 minutes of how I'd done the Godcast. And so I didn't want like somebody, oh my gosh, it's forever. So it was really quick. We just hit on the subject, and then the next podcast was a different subject. But a big part of the theme of the whole thing was, for me personally, there's a lot of religious things that people get hung up on. They're trying to say, okay, is that right, wrong? And ultimately, I don't think it matters. I think a big part of it is God can see your heart. And, there are just people that have mean spirits, and they do things out of like mean intentions, and they mean to hurt. And there are people that are good-natured people that may have bad language or this or that, or may, knock down a couple drinks or even smoke a blunt here and there, all those kind of things. And that was really what it was all about, was talking about the legalistic. And it's always been a problem in every religion, is people who are very legalistic about things and saying, okay, does a lot of this stuff really matter or not? And should we worry and get so hung up on those kind of little tawdry details
I like what you just said. You said God can see your heart.
Yes.
And that's it right there. So, I mean, if you have a good heart, if you're not hurting people, if you're helping people, if you're a good human, making the world better, not worse, then what the fuck?
The stuff that you're talking about where people nitpick this, nitpick that, and that's how it's got to be, all of that to me seems like a very human type of way of going about it. And nobody here on this planet knows exactly what happens when you die. All you can do is have faith with what you believe in.
Yeah.
So a lot of that gets a little sticky when you're talking about some of those questions, because some people are going to say, well, that's a man-made theory.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, a lot of the problems we get into are the man-made or the human way of putting everything in, it's this way, it's that way, and you're wrong and I'm right. And it's just,
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of things that there's not absolutes on, and that's the ultimate thing, where we have gone on ahead and taken whatever religious text you're dealing with, and we've put our own parameters on it. It's like going, okay, is that human, or is that something that is heavenly?
Well, even in one religion, you've got people saying different things about that same religion.
That's the point.
I mean, you can listen to a song, and me and Virginia could interpret it two completely different ways, and that's what you have to factor in with that
That's
stuff.
the point. That's why I think really the whole theme of the Godcast was, at the end of it all, there are some things that we just know is the core. I believe that whatever thing you believe in that has got us here, that you are just wired to ultimately know what is good, what is bad. If you walk up and punch an old lady in the face, there should be something that in your gut tells you that's not the right move. That should be clearly black and white, right and wrong. And there's a lot of core concepts. That's what ultimately should guide us.
I agree. I think people know within themselves when something does not feel right. Yeah, everyone knows when they're being a fuckface. I really do believe that. Deep down.
You're right.
Well, because why do people hide stuff? Well, it's because deep down, you're acting like a fuckface.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it was all about. So, yeah, so we kind of took on those topics, and that was what it was all about.
I got to tell you, I'm a fan of the Godcast.
I
would
go
like
back
you
and
to do
re-listen.
it.
Yeah, might have to go back and re-listen to it. And it's been, like I said, it's been a while. It's almost coming up on 2 years, I think, since we did it. It's posted at kvjshow.com. And we might do another round, because there were some emails from some people that were real smart that really broke it down, and were like going, I showed Sean, he's like, oh my gosh, these people really know their stuff. So yeah.
We are jumping back into the Weird and Whatever podcast, not this week, but next week. I know some people have been asking. So, I mean, I got the Weird and Whatever podcast. You got the Godcast.
Yeah.
When does the man bashing hour start, Virginia? What would you talk about? Food?
We talked about this, and I thought about food. And then I just don't know if it's going to be good enough.
Okay.
Because I think it would be kind of boring after a while. I mean, if I'm bored with it and I haven't even started it yet, to me that says the concept's not there. It's not
You're
hidden.
right. You're completely right.
And then I was thinking, and I brought the idea to you guys about doing a mental health podcast. And you guys were like, that's depressing. No, don't do that.
I mean, well, if you crack any kind of joke, I mean, and you like to crack jokes.
I do.
The queen of zingers. You can't really...
Oh, you could do something that's a different style, though.
What about?
Well, what I thought on the cooking thing for you, and here's the thing, even like with my Godcast, what we did was I had 7 topics I wanted to talk about. And then when I was done talking, I'm like, we just ended it.
You're
it was
like
just,
Game of Thrones, 7 seasons, baby.
It was
That's
just over. There wasn't anything left to say, so I didn't feel like any kind of pressure to keep it on. It was like that was one series. I'm like, if we ever do another season, if like other topics come to my mind, and that was just it. Like some people have asked for over a year, but hey, you gonna do it again? I'd be like, I don't know. If I get enough other things I want to talk about, yes.
Some people just like to hear perspective, even if you cover the same topic. People just like to hear that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I thought about it a lot because I want to do one too since you guys both have done them. I think what would work better for me is I don't think I'm going to do a podcast. I think I'm going to do a video series.
I agree.
And I found a staging kitchen at Bloomingdale's. I didn't realize they
that's
had
cool.
this. Up on the third level, they have a whole area where you can do like a cooking demo, but there's lighting and there's space for people to watch.
that's fantastic.
And so I'm going to go to I know some girls over there in the marketing department.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see if they'll let me do a cooking series and shoot it there at Bloomingdale's and get their help and maybe have some of their use their cooking equipment and get them to endorse it, you know?
What I think you
that'd be
should do,
good.
that was it. I mean, if you've got a couple signature recipes or things that you love to make, show how
do.
you make them.
I
Put a
do.
blog up with all the other written ingredients and everything that you would need so somebody could get that to go along with it. And then just do that. And if there's 3 things that you love to make, great. Make it 3 episodes. If there's 10, make it 10.
You could have a guest come on over. Maybe I come over, show you how to make that grilled cheese lasagna or my hummus pizza.
Oh, so now it's a joke.
No, fuck that. My hummus pizza, I make that for everybody but you 2 knuckleheads. Fucking love that thing. You guys can shit in a hat.
Oh, I'm just messing with you.
Give me a hat.
Yeah, can we shit in your hat?
No, it's a brand new hat.
Well, you said we had to shit in a hat, and I don't have a hat,
Shit in
so.
Talking about the weird and whatever, Morgan said, hey, I've been listening to you guys since I was 9. Hanging out here in the Pizzle. And
I'm 47 now.
Yes. The other day, I definitely saw a UFO. Nothing like I've ever seen before, and I've always been a skeptic, and now I'm nervous. It was 2 balls of light that got my attention, first because they were in a cloud, then they rose up, and the light lit up from it, looked like a diamond, and it was very bright. Then one went left, and the other went up. Then, when we went back to the party and were telling our skeptical friends about it, the other one popped up out of nowhere and then sat there, then shot up in the air and disappeared.
What?
The light was like a diamond, shine bright like a diamond from a star only. The light was like a diamond from a star only close, and you could tell it was a diamond. Very creepy for a skeptical girl.
Yeah, no, what she's describing is something that a lot of people describe. There's floating balls, and then all of a sudden they dart out in the middle of nowhere and leave.
Dart and leave, huh?
Yeah, what she saw is very common.
I just wish that we were like closer to it. You know, why can't it dart and leave like right above my head?
Well-
so I can see it better. It's always like it's so far off in the distance that you're like
they know.
what the hell is that?
That's not true, because now if you're talking about getting those close encounters on video, yeah, there's not a lot of that. But people have, without a doubt, reported have had sightings and have had experiences where it's right above them. In fact, the Fire in the Sky, a very famous movie about a UFO kidnapping, did just that. There's 4 or 5 witnesses of their friend getting taken up into a ship, and they all passed lie detector tests. And this has been going on since the 70s.
Did the friend ever come back?
He did come back. He came back 4 days later, and he was jacked up. No one. You'll never watch it, but if anyone is interested, Fire in the Sky. It's based on a true story. I believe it's from the 80s. Very good movie.
There you go. So the Pizzle, seeing some unexplained activities.
There's a lot of unexplained shit going on in the Pizzle.
I saw a shooting star. Does that count?
What's the next email, Kev? Yeah. I saw 5 in one night in Gainesville. No one
5?
believes me. Like, dude, you were so drunk. I saw 5 shooting stars in one night.
Did you really?
I
Wow.
swear to
He
you.
Probably a
always
meteor
has
shower.
He always has to one up my stories.
I actually 5 up to you. your shit's real.
really brought it.
You saw a shooting. Big fucking deal.
That's all I've ever seen. I've never seen that UFO. I've never seen shit. Nothing like that ever happens to me.
Well, you do have ghosts living at your place.
No, I don't.
Got a question here from Jenny. Her and her husband moved to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee about 4 years ago for work from the Pizzles. She said it was difficult meeting new people, and it took about a year before we found a family that we loved hanging out with. They've got a son that is our son's age, and they, too, enjoy spending time together. Well, a couple months ago, I get a disturbing phone call from my husband that our friend's teenage daughter had accused her father, my husband's now best friend, of sexually assaulting her.
What?
Fast forward to present day, and all charges were dropped. The daughter is back in the home, and they're all back to normal. I, on the other hand, don't know what to think. My husband thinks I'm being ridiculous when I tell him I'm uncomfortable with the situation. He thinks since they moved past it, then I should too. They've been great friends to us, and we even spend the holidays together. Your input would be greatly appreciated.
So, do we know? Did he do this? I mean, if charges were dropped, does that mean she made it up?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's something, if you guys are such good friends, my thought would be maybe it might be something to bring up with them.
I mean, if I was really, really good friends with somebody, I would bring it up.
Yeah.
And just start out by saying, look, this is really uncomfortable for me to even bring this up, but I just want to know what happened. What was the resolution?
Just get clarity in the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you have to lose at this point? Because you're ready to write off the friendship, it sounds like. And I got to say, I don't think that's the wrong call. I mean, this is scary and heavy drama.
Say what you need to say.
Yeah, but I think it's worth asking, and I think you should also be prepared that it is possible that there was nothing there. The fact that she's in the home and it sounds like it went to the authorities and then she's back there and living with her parents, that it probably was seriously vetted, and they probably came up with an explanation that maybe she got upset with her dad and made, just being a foolish teenage girl. I mean, that's possible, and made these kind of charges.
It's hard to make a complete, like, this is what happened if you don't have all the details on something.
Right.
You got to get details. If not,
I think in this case it's warranted to ask, to say, hey, we're not nosy, or we're not whatever, but we would like to know, because this is something that is very big.
We think about this a lot, and it's unanswered questions, and I feel like I got to know the answers.
I agree, because you would be in the right that if there's truth to it and something did happen, that saying, look, we're just not comfortable being friends with you guys is the right thing to do.
Right, you got to be careful who you hang out with.
Yep.
Because, if you lay with dogs, you get fleas.
But at the same time, I mean, imagine if there was a family that you were friends with, Virginia, and the girl was going through some stuff and didn't emotionally know how to deal with some things, and she just lashed out by making up this story, and you're like, I mean, you wouldn't want to then pile on to the family if there was a false charge. They, I'm sure, feel already awful with everything that happened. Be like, going, now we've lost friends, and there's no truth to it.
But I would like to know, what happened.
Yeah, because you're a nosy watch.
Yeah, I'm not even nosy, and I think that I would want to know.
You're not a little bit nosy. You've got to be nosy. You just don't act on things.
Yeah.
Because there's got to be shit that goes around. You're like, what is going on there? You just don't investigate. But there's got to be a little bit of...
Kevin pretends like he doesn't like gossip.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
When you give him the information, he does like, oh, good. Okay, it's good to know.
No, I do. There are some things that I do like to know, because we've said before, I've had many foot and mouth situations.
Yes, I've watched them.
I have, you've seen them, and that's the times where it's like, I'm like, I don't want to be a gossip, don't want to be involved with that stuff, but there are times where there is a benefit to knowing some people's dirty details, or just the details that are happening in their life. That way you don't open up a door that makes it very awkward.
I always feel like if you're with your close friends, and I consider you guys close friends, I don't see that as gossip. Gossip to me is when you're at a party or you're going around town and you're just saying all this reckless shit about people. I mean, hanging out with your friends and just talking about stuff you see and experience, is that really gossip?
I think it has to do with the intent in which you're talking about somebody. And I try to always catch myself and watch to make sure I'm not talking, a gang of smack about somebody. Like, I don't want to talk ill about somebody behind their back just to make myself feel better. If I'm talking, if there's something going on, I'm talking about somebody, in a sense it would be behind their back. I would hope that it would be for the betterment of that person, that I'm like going, hey, I noticed they've got a problem. I wanted to bounce this off of you. How do you think we should handle this? How should we approach this? And it's for the purpose of helping them out. It's not just to talk, and make ourselves feel better and to tell,
but don't you
idle
think
stories
that
about them.
Sometimes when you're with your crew, I'm talking about a very close. You don't do this with everybody, but sometimes venting to your friends, that's a healthy thing. I feel.
Oh yeah.
And one could see that as gossip, but if you got your inner circle and you're just talking to your friends just to vent, I don't know if that is that gossip?
I think
No, but it's fun.
I think there's a different tone. I think if you're saying like, I can't believe so-and-so, whatever, and like this and that, you're kind of venting. I think gossip is like, did you hear what so-and-so was doing and this and that? And they're like, and I hear they're doing this and I hear they're doing that. Then I think that's probably more in the category of gossip. And that's a lot of times, you just want to be talking about somebody else.
Sure.
That to me is like what I think would be more gossip.
Got ya.
And I think there is a difference between gossip and venting.
True.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of the intent on what you're trying to do.
I just sometimes if you heard, for example, if you heard a rumor about something and you don't know if it's true, if you go to your crew and talk to them, can you believe this rumor? What the shit's going? Kevin, he blew a goat. Like, what? That's not gonna. It's not if you have your crew that you trust and it's not gonna get out.
Lucky goat.
Is that?
Oh yeah.
Or is that you guys just fucking talking about some
If
shit?
anybody on our show was to get busted blowing a goat, I think it'd actually be you.
No,
Vern.
it's definitely Suits. Definitely the millennials.
You think?
Oh yeah.
Millennials.
Like, what?
Definitely.
Millennials blow goats.
I ain't blowing no goats.
You're just trying to like explore. And,
Why do I gotta be the blowjob goat guy? I gotta give that to Suits.
All right, Suits, you're blowing a goat. Tomorrow, if I brought a goat in,
I don't know if that'd be possible.
would
I
Suits get
think
nervous?
they might fight back.
They would.
Yeah, you might think. Got this email from Zach in Charleston, South Carolina. Said, I just want to let you know I start off listening to every episode of the podcast. See, I work for Publix, and I got a promotion from Miami to here in Charleston. I work mostly closing shifts. So as soon as we close, I put my headphones in and your podcast on. I even have a coworker up here that listens to you guys now. So I was listening to last Thursday, and you guys were talking about the map of your nationers, and I went on and saw that you don't have any listeners in Charleston. So you guys better put that star on, because now you got at least 2 nationers living in Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Have we updated that map in a while?
Denny's, we gotta update the map.
I think we have, but we got to keep reminding people that if you are listening to us someplace outside of South Florida, where you can pick us up at 97.9 WRMF, let us know where you're listening. And we'll put you on a map. We do have a map on our website. If you go to kvjshow.com, they have kind of like the hamburger menu. It's just basically 3 lines. You click on that, you'll see KVJ Nation map, and you can find it right there. So
Sweet.
it'll let you know where in the world. Yeah, we got people all over the globe listening because of streaming and podcasts and iHeart and all that good stuff. Let me see. Got a positive call out. Somebody said, just before the Christmas break, my grandmother, who was actually more like a mother to me, was put into hospice and passed away on 12/22. She lives in Vero, and I was driving to and from Delray to Vero several times during the duration of the entire week and following week. And whenever I would start crying on the way up, I would play your podcast, and it would make me crack a smile and sometimes laugh during a very rough period in my life. So thank you guys so much for your silliness and your wacky antics. It's not even close to the first time you've helped me through life's difficult times. There you go. That's from Jessica. Thank you, Jessica.
Very cool.
Love, love, love hearing those.
That's just so special to think that you can change somebody's focus when they're going through that. That's just awesome.
It is.
Also, Craven sent an email, said, I know it's late, but can I get a birthday shout out to my wife, Kimberly, from Thomas and daughter, Charlie?
Kimberly!
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
So there you go. Happy to hook you up with that. And with that, that is it for a Monday.
Oh, man, we're just heating up. 5 more mins?
Yeah.
You can have 5 more minutes if it's just you and the goat.
It'll take a lot quicker than that. Give me 2.
Get it done in 2, baby. Justin Timberlake announced a date. He's going to be playing the BB&T Center in Sunrise on Saturday, May 19th, 2018.
You better play the old stuff.
Yeah.
Tell
Wait.
you what, the new stuff ain't floating the boat.
Someone did say, wasn't that song that we played, was that like unfinished stuff? Or was that an actual...
No, that's from the video. That's the actual
Really?
single, yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it
it's filthy.
is it doing good?
It doesn't deserve to.
I mean, it's right now. I think they're probably just testing the water on it. But I mean, I think it'll be like, will it catch on with people or not? And I just, all the reactions that I've heard from people, and they're even like JT fans, like, it's not very good. A lot of people don't like it. Now, is it one of those things, if you listen to it a couple times, you're like, yeah, you know, oddly enough, I'm kind of starting to enjoy it. I've listened to it a few. I like it slightly better than when I first did, but it is far from what I think is his greatest work.
It's no sexy back.
Now,
It's got 12 mil on YouTube and growing, and
Yeah.
there is some dislike on there, more than a JT song would normally have.
yeah, it's a lot.
Not a lot, but
Yeah, but I would say that it's, from what I've seen, it's pretty much almost unanimous dislike.
I would say,
Really?
yeah, he's got
Yeah.
about 20% dislike on YouTube, but that's his own song, so that means
Yeah.
people are going there to hate on it.
Yeah. He's also going to play American Airlines Arena the night before BB&T. That's going to be on Friday, May 18th. So there you go, 2 nights. He's going to be playing back-to-back in South Florida. New album is out February 2nd is when it's going to be going on. Tickets go on sale Monday, January 29th for the American Express pre-sale Wednesday, January 24th at 10 a.m. So there you go. All right, you guys have a great Monday. We'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.